Alleged affair between England footballer Jack Grealish, who has a girlfriend, and TV star Emily Atack, who's single, is apparently over, if you read the papers. Meanwhile, Love Island's Amber Gill was forced to deny she had been secretly dating Jack due to a front-page headline. As a result, she says she's been getting abuse online and has even been on the receiving end of death threats. It's just incredible. Well, last night, Jack posted on Instagram, "Don't believe everything you read in the papers," but the treatment of those two women in the press and online is very different to the treatment that Jack's been getting, and the language surrounding this is very telling. Take, for example, this particular headline, which called him Jack the Lad. I mean, the reality is, Julie, there's not a female alternative to a phrase like that, is there?
Well, yeah, there is, but we just can't say what it is. Well, there's not really, actually, because it's almost saying it's OK.
Well, yeah, there isn't that you can compare to women that we can say on daytime TV because none of them are complimentary, are they?
Exactly. And I just think it's so devastating with anything that you read in the papers, you know, not knowing if it's factual or not, and it's put out there, it makes such an impact on people's life. I've spoke to Amber, and like she posted on her Instagram, on her social media, the threats that she's had, the disruption that it causes.
She's had death threats.
Death threats, yeah, in your personal life when these things that she's saying is not true. So it's really harsh and it's really quite scary how, to some, it might seem like, you know, gossip, salacious gossip, and, you know, it's just a bit of newspaper read, but a bit of fun. Well, actually, it affects people's life. And like Amber said to me, that it affects other relationships, you know, it affects people's emotional, mental health. When you have to go and make a statement about something that you wouldn't usually make a statement about, social media is supposed to be fun and light, you're supposed to be entertaining
people. Imagine the ripple effect on Amber Gill's family when she's having death threats. If that girl did not have an affair with Jack Grealish and she says she didn't, so I choose to believe that she didn't, how dare any newspaper say that she did?
Yeah,
and put it on the front page and cause such distress. There is always a Jack the Lad thing. Listen, I'm not moralising here. I've been the cheater and I've been the cheated on, and I've seen both sides of it. But let me tell you, it was only me that the papers wanted to write about, even though they knew the truth many, many times. Right. But I was the person.
You're the villain.
I'm the villain. I've also heard other women in my life who've always said, you know, if I found him in bed with someone, she'd be the one that would, you know, men have needs, men have, you know, there's always been this sort of stereotypical male thing that that it's almost kind of expected of men, and I think it's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I think there is you know, yes, both online, within the press, and also in people's private lives, there's always a temptation to think as though if it's a man or woman that are married and the man decides to cheat, the person that he's cheated with is the person that's at fault. You know, it's almost as if, as you say, men can't help it, and the woman is almost always painted as the villain.
But you said it's the temptation, and, you know, this is going back, if we think about it, I'm going to say it, to when, you know, Eve gave Adam a bite of her apple. She's always been considered the female, the temptress. And that is how it's always going to be, and it's never going to change. That narrative is never going to change.
It's really sad, but it's dangerous at the same time, you know, and I think it's just about not feeding into everything that you read and see, and for those in the public eye, supporting others and making sure that they're OK, because I don't think people realise the impact it has on people's lives, especially when it's just alleged.
But it's not, you know, the reality is it's not always men that are going to have affairs. Women are more than capable of having affairs as well. They're also an individual. And I think that the situation, it doesn't matter who is at fault or what have you, but the tendency tends to be to
blame... worse for women.
Yes, yes.
And yet on those marriage websites, which are for happily married people who want to have, you know, a no-strings-attached a no-strings-attached affair, there are as many women as men on there. But sorry,
I'd like to say that you weren't pointing at me because I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. I just said no strings attached, and it was yet another fantastic name I suggested for the 1975 many years ago, alongside no added sugar.
Well done to Matty for not listening to a lot of his mum's advice. Imagine where he could be now.